Hey guys, it's Marty and welcome to Two Line Slot Cars. I am really late tonight. I had a podcast recording that was fantastic. A friend of mine that I've known for a really long time came over and we recorded a podcast. I've got another podcast that I do that's with my buddy Mike Throne, who is the Chamber of Commerce director in Chillicothe, Ohio. And we highlight great things that are happening in our community on our podcast. It's called the Feels Like Home podcast. And we usually shoot on Wednesday nights, but a friend of mine who works at the Wilds, so if anybody is in Ohio, you may have heard of this. It is an open-air safari zoo, and they actually have a TV show on Nat Geo channel. It's on Disney Plus as well, called The Secrets of the Zoo, and they are called the Wilds. So very cool stuff. But Adam, my friend Adam, we kind of grew up together, played some soccer, and I coached a soccer team that he was on when I was just right out of high school. And great dude. And it was really kind of exciting to see him again and catch up. But our podcast went on for a while, so I am really late tonight. I apologize, guys. I know that we probably don't have anybody that's going to jump in just because we're so late. But hey, Raul, yes. George, yes. Hey, Tim, welcome. Hey, Dusty. How's the bourbon, man? So, Dusty, Adam Davis. I don't know if you remember the Davis kids from Kingston where we grew up. He was at the house with his son, Addison, and we talked a lot about the Wilds, which is it's part of the Columbus Zoo, but it's a great big open-air safari farm, and they have white rhinoceroses, they have giraffes, they have all kinds of different wildlife, exotic stuff, and he's a caretaker there and is one of the characters on their TV show. And so we thought we would talk to him, and that interview, it was so great and entertaining that we went over by quite a bit. We usually try to be about an hour, and we were more like an hour and 45 minutes. So, hey, who else? Hey, Gerardo, you made it. Thanks. Probably because I'm a little late. Hey, Tim, when is Dusty getting on the live stream? We could bring Dusty on tonight. I don't know if he's sitting in front of his camera. So we could bring Dusty. We could bring John Mark. Hey, Daryl. Hey, man. What's up? Yeah, that's good stuff. Hey, George, welcome. Hey, Danny, welcome to the live stream. Gerardo, Tim, Patriot Hobbies. Hey, Clint, welcome. So how's everybody doing tonight for Tuesday? Anybody get some racing in over the weekend? John Mark and Dusty and I, we had a chance to get some racing in on Sunday afternoon for a little bit. And Dusty got to tune his new slotted Jaguar. Guys, that is a fast car. I don't know if anybody owns that car. I think Daryl said that he owned one. George may have that too. I think that Raul has one. Hey, John Mark, welcome. Hash it out all in public. Tuning. Is that what you're into tonight, George? Doing some tuning? Or are you tuning the Jag? George sent me a message earlier today that he was tuning on his Thunder Slot Elva. That's a great car. Hey, Lego Mike. Welcome, man. So tonight, I don't know really what to talk about other than the fact that our buddy Raul, I was on a live stream with him last night. We were talking about float. It was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. And then in the mail today, let's see, where did I put it? In the mail today, I got a package from Raul. I probably shouldn't have shown everybody my address. Somebody will comment that I shouldn't put my address out there, but I mean, if you probably Google me, it's probably not that hard to find me. So, was that a Revo you were working on? That was the Revo, not the Thunder slot. Gotcha. Oh wait, T slot. Gotcha. So Marty, when you getting your new sideways car? Clint, I need to order that. Actually, I need to call Bruce. There's a lot of all the class at Cincy Slots. They'll race Group 5, and so that's why Sideways is my next purchase, because I need to tune a car to maybe make it there the last week of Group 5 racing. Hey John, welcome, man. Glad you could jump in. I'm running a little late tonight. Usually I start at 8 and I didn't start till 9. Life got in the way, but it was a good thing. So everything's good. Hey Sunday Slots. Hey Billy and Amanda, welcome. Yeah, great live stream, guys. I hate that I missed it. I didn't get the notification, but as soon as you were done, I got the notice that it. So yeah, back to Raul sent me a package, so I figure we'll open that tonight and talk about it. He wanted me to wait so that you can't hide anymore. Wanted me to wait and get my reaction, so I have no idea what's in the box. Not like my fake unboxing where I had already cut most of the tape, and when I grabbed it, it popped open with the knife before I even had a chance to slice it. So I was going to make a joke about him getting a pipe bomb, but now it seems inappropriate. Yeah. Today's culture might not appreciate that. Appreciate that, Billy. But this past week, we had a big, long conversation last Tuesday about super tires. And I'll tell you, I got a package from this week. I put a video out about it. And, man, what a great opportunity. I put the set on my GT40. Where's that? And this car is flying. It's really hooked up. I was super impressed. I had a set of quick slicks on it, and those work great. But these new super tires, I was really pleased. Man, this car, it's the new track record holder. Imagine that. I wasn't expecting it, but man, I put by lap 5, I broke the track record. So the car was screaming. But it was, I talked about the letter that Pamela sent with the package of a handful of tires, and what just a wonderful gesture. And guys, if you have not tried Super Tires, just a big plug for them, because I mean, they sent me some stuff, but it was legit. They're performing, and all the guys at Cincy Slots run them. So, yeah, give them a try. But man, what a just a wonderful gesture. So I really appreciated it. John Bacon, what I'd like to find out. Gary Dunmore. Hey Gary, welcome, man. Hey DeFingers, welcome. Sorry for such a late night, guys. Usually we're wrapping up about 9, and we're just getting started. So, John Bacon, thanks for the question. Yes, the digital analog box. I put a video out this week of what happened, what I think happened, and caused the short in the box that caused one of the chips to burn up. And I was able to steal a chip from another car and test it to make sure that was all it was. And I have not had any problems since. Joe from Tech Slots, he told me exactly how to test to get lane isolation. I had tested with what the instructions said was to have the CU unit out, which in my mind didn't make sense, but I was following the instructions. I'm definitely a rule follower, not a rule breaker. But then it totally made sense when I put the C unit in, but left the power off and not unplugged. And then I flipped the box over to analog, and then I tested the lane for isolation, and I'd found that I had a pair swapped, negative to positive, positive to negative, on that outside lane, and that's the chip I lost. Since then, no issues or problems, man. It's been great. Digital has been great. We ran digital on Sunday. We ran 3 of George's 917s. Porsches. John Mark will say this was his. He ran the golf livery. Dusty ran the red number 23, which I think is a sweet, sweet car. And I ran number 35, and they were like neck and neck. The last race, we all ended the race. It was a 12-minute race, or no, we ran a 5-minute race, and we were all on the same lap within a matter of feet from each other. Super competitive. Those cars are fantastic. Let's see here. Jonathan appears that tech slots are temporarily not available to buy. Yeah, Jonathan, unfortunately, I think with the chip shortage through the pandemic and kind of the backlog, Joe sent out what he had made up, and once he got chips, but I think that it just became overwhelming. So I think that he's not making those anymore, but he still supports them on the Facebook page. He was so helpful, man. Shout out to him. I know he probably is. I'm probably not on his radar. This live stream's not on his radar, but a shout out to Tech Slots and Joe. They were awesome. He really was great. My son used to live in Chillicothe for some time. Really, DeFingers. That's awesome. What brought him to Chillicothe? Just a job, just life. A lot of people make it to Chillicothe because of the paper mill or the Kenworth Truck Company, which is where my brother works. Maybe I shouldn't have said that on the live stream. Sorry, Dusty. Hey, Richard. Good afternoon, man. Let's see. Yeah, it's a small world for sure. Yeah, and then a lot of times people come to Chillicothe because of their recording workshop. We have a recording studio school here, kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is crazy, but it's definitely a reason that people would know Chillicothe. Grandson lives there too, made many trips back and forth. Well, DeFingers, if you ever find yourself back in Chillicothe, you need to give me a call. We'll meet up. That would be awesome. It would be great to organize some kind of meetup for those of us who are in the Midwest. Even our Canadian friends like Raul and Massimo, we need to figure that out. George and I have been talking about how we've got to make something happen. So, yeah, the Harley Rodeo. Yeah, I forgot, Dusty. That is a big reason that people used to come to Chillicothe. Labor Day weekend, we had an Easy Rider rodeo here at our fairgrounds. It was massive, like 100,000 people showed up for it. It wasn't quite Sturgis, but it was pretty big. Dusty going to get a suspicious place, a piece of mail now. That's right. Sorry about that, Tim. Yeah, I watched that video. Cool. Can't wait to see what's in the box. All right, Gary. Let's get to the box. Is that all right, Raul? Can we jump into opening up the box? All right, here's the box. So let's see what we got. The sad thing is, Raul, I may have to send this, whatever this is, I may have to send it back to you so you can tune it for me. Okay, I'll try not to cut myself on the live stream. Oh, wait, hang on. Maybe I need to sharpen my knife. Okay. Oh, no way. Okay, there is a digital chip in here. Hey, Dan, welcome. We are in the middle of unboxing a box from Raul Conquest. Holy cow. That is wow. This is amazing. So this is an MR slot car. The Olive Garden livery. Man, this car is awesome. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys. I kind of forgot about the live stream there for a second. Check that out. Wow. You, Raul, you weren't lying, man. Yeah, George. Again, very nice. Yes, MR slot car 333. These run nice. I am. Oh man, I am. Oh my gosh. I am blown away. This car is amazing. So it's a angle winder. Great footprint. What a nice car. Gosh, the detail is fantastic. Shout out to Ernie at, yeah, man. It is Dusty. Check it out. That car is awesome. Let's check out the. So I think MR slot cars, they use some slotted parts. So I'm familiar with this chassis. That's Mr. Slot Car to you. That's right. So is it Mr. Slot Car or MR Slot Car? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it properly, because this is awesome. Man alive. Raul, do you know what motor is in this? What do they run? It looks like a long cam. So is it a 21.5? I can't tell from this side. Looks like it's got some magnet in it. Oh my. That is fantastic. So what was that? Remove the magnet, it will handle better. All slotted components don't really need to do much to get it to run nice. Let me put that up here. Yeah, man. Raul, thanks. This is really, really cool. That is a great looking livery. Beautiful. Beautiful car. Does anybody out there have one of these, the 333s? Yeah, it's a numbered car. It's number 486 of 550. So take the magnet out; it will handle better. I'm working on that, George. I'm working on non-mag. I've been racing non-mag all week. Well, for the last 2 weeks actually, since we ran at Cincy Slots. So it's got a 21K. Okay, cool. So it's not too crazy. It should handle really well on my track then. Mr. Slot Car, gotcha. Got the old man and the son in the house. Nice gift. Yeah, very much. Very nice gift. Yeah, thanks, Raul. Man, I appreciate it. I'm blown away. That is one good looking car. Pull that magnet out and stick it on my refrigerator. I have a stainless steel refrigerator. The magnet won't stick to it. Daryl, that's funny. Hey, Mr. Cunningham, thanks. Thank you for the blue Nissan and the seat Cupra. Tim Smith, waiting for Raul to ask for it back now. Yeah, I don't know why he would want to give up this car, Tim. That it's beautiful, man. I'm so excited. I will definitely do a review of that, and talk about tuning it. Yeah, Gary, it would be. One of the things I'm working on is to put a camera over on my track so that I could move over there with a microphone and still get good audio, and get a good view of the track. So I've been working on that. I've got a webcam I think I can use. We're going to try that out, probably test it this week, and hopefully have it ready for next week. So I can show that. Yeah, John, it's very awesome. Now you can tune it. I will do my best to tune it, George. You've got 3 of them as well. Yeah, they released 3 liveries, right, of the car. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, thanks, John. 20 and a half. That'll be perfect on my layout, I think. Those higher motors, like the 25Ks in the Mosler, it's a bit much for my track. I've got to really kind of pull them down. So that'll be great. You have the white kit. Nice. Mosetti Racing MR. Gotcha. Thanks, Sean. To a good home, John. Yeah. Hi, Jim. Welcome to the live stream, man. Glad you could make it. Seems that we have 2 Mr. Wileys in the house. Put the digital chip in it and race it. Yeah, man. I will. Yeah. I don't know what to say, Raul. It was very, very kind of you. I won't let you down. I'll get it tuned up. Make some good laps with it. Chris, I have the Silk Cut Jaguar and the McLaren GTR. Mark, you did the power supply swap, just as you did Marty. Same one. Thanks for doing the video. It was easy. Yeah, Mark, I thought it was easy too. Yeah, it's really handy to be able to push the voltage once you throw a 124 scale car in on the track. It really is a big difference. It's nice. So I'm glad that worked out. I'm glad the video was helpful. If you run into any more questions, just let me know. Send me a message. See, hi Marty, Boston here. First live with you. Hey Gene, welcome. I'm glad you're on board. We just did an unboxing. Raul, Conquest Racing. He has sent me a car in the mail, and it arrived today, and so we unboxed that. Pretty exciting. Yeah, the Revo Slot 333s are pretty good cars. Would you agree with that, John? Since it sounds like you have a pair of them. They're probably good performers. I've got one on loan from Daryl, and it's a sweet car, very smooth. The Revo Slot stuff. Plus, that car comes with unlimited garlic bread refills. That's right. Yeah, I would like more breadsticks. Soup and salad, please. Can I have some more salad? You have lots of footage of these cars. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I think I've watched one of the videos when you said that you bought them. Yeah, now you're hungry. Waiting on the showdown, on the shadow. Yeah, John, I agree. I think in one of my earlier videos, I talked about like 5 cars that I have on my list that I wanted to buy this past year. I only ended up getting 1 car off of it because I've changed my mind so many times. But the Shadow was one of them. It was going to be my first MR slot car. So now it'll have to be my second because the Shadow is really cool. It's a unique car. I think that's why I really, really like it. But yes, that will be funny. That will be fun. Yeah, my brother's hungry. Of course he is. Thomas, what's crazy is I think that I do have a set that came with what Pamela sent me of super tires that will fit this car. I was thinking about when I was reading through the specs. I think that the set that I put on my GT40 will fit this car as well. So we'll give it a shot. I think, yeah, Gladstone, you are correct. Jim Cunningham does know his stuff. I mean, the man built the Omnibox. I mean, come on now. Yeah, he's a book of knowledge when it comes to his channel's really good. I think I've watched most of the videos on his channel. Hey, Slot Journal. Hey, welcome from Akron. We're not that far away. See, I keep finding more and more people in Ohio that are running slot cars. We'll have to have some kind of Ohio slot car meetup. That would be fun. I used to look at fried chicken like Marty's looking at that car. Yeah. The shadow knows. That's a nice reference there. Marty, did you start at 9? Is that the new time? Garth, no. I had a podcast recording before at 7, and we ran over really. We went long, and it was a great thing. Got to meet up with a friend of mine from my childhood. Well, not really childhood, my young adulthood. I was a soccer coach, and he was one of my soccer players, and our families grew up together. His brother and sister and my brother and sister, we were all grew up in the same little town. So it went longer than normal. No, I really like to start at 8 so that we don't go too late, but I still wanted to go. Let's see, who else do we have in here? Josh. Hey, welcome, Josh. Italian food has been sounding great. That's right. That's good. Gladstone, what was your startup cost for your track? So I try very hard to not impact my wife with my hobby of slot cars. And so I had actually sold a couple of things on eBay that I just had laying around. I have a lot of sound equipment because I have a band and we don't play out as much as we used to. So I'd sold a few things and had a little bit of play money, but I bought a starter set for about $300. And it was a Carrera digital starter set. I got a great deal on it. And then we started adding track, and my brother and John Mark, who are both on here, have been huge in helping the track grow because it seemed like every week they were showing up with boxes of track, and we would add to the layout, and then we would build onto the table. And so that so I started with about $300 or $400, and then we've gradually added to it. And I don't know, the layout the way it is, I probably have, if I counted it up, there's maybe $1,500 or $1,800 total. It's a pretty sizable layout, about 112, 115 feet of track, somewhere in there. The table layout is 8 foot by 24 feet, so it's pretty big layout. You start adding pit lanes and adding the Bluetooth, then the app, controllers, those kind of things. Those things all add up. So, but you can start out with a starter set if you find the right deal. I think my brother found a fantastic deal on his set that he hasn't set up yet because he comes over and plays on mine. Let's see. Hiya, Bruce. Hey, is Bruce in? Hey, Bruce. Danny, not new to slot cars, been away for a long time. Dan Wiley built my boys and I HO track for Christmas. We've been enjoying that, kind of driving into the bigger cars as well. Nice. Welcome to the hobby. Glad to see you get back in it. What is your startup cost? I already covered that. Marty, you will need to move those rear wheels out a little before you run because they were put on and tight to carrying. Okay, gotcha. Thanks. What is the Shadow? Ingest 101. So the Shadow was a Can-Am car, I believe. Can-Am was the class that it ran in the mid-'70s. It has real exaggerated lines over the front tires, and it's an open air like cockpit. It's pretty wild. It's a great looking car, but it's very different. It's just a neat car. Gerardo, Jim is awesome. Yes, I would agree. Yep. There's a link to the Shadow 1974. Well, Jim, I'm lucky I have a decent camera. Somebody mentioned that they thought my lighting was really good, and I had to break the news to them that my lighting is homemade soft boxes that I made out of Amazon boxes, aluminum foil, leftover LED lights from my kitchen remodel, and shower curtain. So I'm faking the professional lighting to try to make my videos look better. But it works, man. Yeah, and just check out the link. Josh Reed, I'll ask one of the guys at the hobby shop tomorrow what super tires they're running on their MR slot car and get your way. Hey, thanks, Josh. Appreciate that, man. I've got 5 different sets, so I'm hoping that one of the sets that I have works. If not, I'll call Bruce. I need to order my my sideways car. I'm trying to stay away from a livery that everybody's running down there, so that I don't have a car that looks the same. So that all means yes on the Ohio meetup. Yeah, Chris, I agree. I think that Garth, you like 9? Okay, thanks. I know you had mentioned that before. You use Super Tire silicone and you love them. We race silicone on Carrera track for years. Yeah, I'm real happy with the Super Tires on this track. They're doing great. Let's see. I'm willing to come from Arkansas to play with the. Did you see my email? Jim, I did not see your email. I will go look for it. You sent it to my Gmail account. I'll track it down. I got a big dump of email the last 3 or 4 days. And I've just been so busy I haven't been able to get on my personal. During the day, I really focus on my job. I really separate the YouTube stuff after hours. So a lot of times I'm not catching up until evening. And the last 2 nights I've been on a live stream. Last night with Raul and tonight. So, but I will read it and respond to you. Thank you very much. John, you said easy tune. What were you referring to? The MR slot car, or the Revo slots, the 333s? Yeah, I would say that they're probably fairly easy. John, you are near Portland, Oregon. Cool. Almost 50 dudes on here, plus Sunday's wife. Hey, thanks, Tim. Yeah, that would be awesome. Amanda's helping me with my 1% of female audience. We need to work on that, Amanda. What can I do? Help me. How can I appeal to women slot car racers? Let's see here. Try being Canadian. We don't have much of anything around here. Peanuts for the amount of fun. And Danny's in Arkansas too. There you go. You're close to Jim. He's in, I think, Little Rock. Let's see here. My room is only 12 by 11. So, Gene, yeah, you've got to create a layout that's pretty tight. Hey, Bruce. I finally caught up to the message. I need about $500 worth of track to expand my layout, all flat. Yeah, I need to go through my extra track. It's starting to pile up a little bit. I'm actually considering making some changes to my layout after I ran Bruce's layout. We really had fun on Cincy Slot's layout, and so it made me think a little bit about what I've got going on. Yeah, Bruce Dusty really likes the Pink Pig sideways. I think you have 2 of them, so I won't beat him to it if I'll let him buy the Pink Pig. My friend in the film world would call that gripology. Nice. I like it. Yeah, so kind of running late. The MR slot car, they tune nicely. Yeah, I'm excited about getting this on the track. I'm not sure what class this would run in. Would this wouldn't qualify for vintage. Would this be a Group C car? Bruce, I don't know. What would this car qualify for? Anything that you run? Any of the classes you run at Cincy Slots? That'd be interesting to know. Yeah. Daryl, he said his Pink Pig ran pretty good. Hi, Amanda. Yes, you're here. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Jim, a drive from Arkansas is a pretty good haul, but if we have an Ohio meetup, what I would love to do is have it at a track. So like even if I host it here, or, I mean, my track can come apart if I find a facility that could handle more people. My house and my basement couldn't handle very many people. We could always move the track temporarily to a space that would accommodate us. But I'm not sure how many people want to come to Chillicothe. Not that Chillicothe is not a bad place to come to, but I'm about $1,800 in on my Carrera 124 track, and I estimate Area 51 at $2,500. I wonder what Harry has on his oval. Yeah, his wooden oval. I'm not sure what he would have. Probably about that. Building that. Both of them. He won't buy both of them. He'll buy one of them. I'm trying to decide what Group 5 car I want, and I'm trying to stay away from a livery that nobody else is racing down there. I have trouble making decisions on cars. Rear mags need to come out when using silicone new tires, right? Well, I mean, the magnets don't have to come out if you run magnets. Again, I'm not bricks. I'm not anti-magnet. I'm not pro-magnet. I'm enjoying both, to be honest with you. I think when we run digital on my track, it's fun to run magnets when you've got 5 or 6 cars on the track. I feel like there's a lot more bumping going on with all those cars on the track. And so we run magnets, but I think that when we run analog, we're gonna run non-mag on the track, just because I want to get better at driving the car. Yeah. So let's see here. Hey, grandson of man, welcome. Fast food class. I haven't seen anybody run a Toyota Celica Group 5 down there yet. It's been one I've been eyeing, but I haven't pulled the trigger. Okay, thanks, Josh. I had not seen a Toyota Celica either. I think Bruce has 1 or 2 different liveries of that, so I'll probably maybe pull the trigger on one of those. I don't know if anybody was running the BMW M1. I know that there was others running the other BMW, but I don't remember seeing a bunch of M1s on the track either. So the Italian class, the lasagna class, John Mark, is what we'll call that. So that's an IMSA post Group C. Yeah, so it's a little newer car, right? So I change our layout about every 2 weeks or so just to keep it fun. Yeah, it's that's the beauty of Carrera, Polycar, or Scalextrics. You have the ability to change it up whenever you want. Put silicone tires on my number 26 917. It screams on my track. Yeah, I love that. Oh yeah, so Richard, this 917. Yeah, man, that's about all I've done to this is put silicone tires on it, and I changed the guide to a slot invasion guide. Car is fast. It's really noisy. I would recommend one of the things I'm going to do now, and I'll take the tire off so you can see it. The wheels on this car, I don't know if I can make it focus there. You can see those little divots. And so what guys do is they fill those with epoxy and then true them. And that will quiet down this car, because this car, it just thumps all the way around the track, but it's still fast. WCS or sports prototype, that would be the class I could run that in. Hey, Bill, welcome. Good to see you. Sideways BMW M1. Gerardo, do you have one of those? They perform well. You like how it handles? Pretty easy to tune. The Lancia Monte Carlo. Yeah, I think there's a handful of people running the Lancia, maybe. Probably LMP. Okay. So you would probably let that run in your LMP class? Okay. Good to know. So maybe I have a car for when LMP comes around. Only 4 likes. Yeah, well, I'm kind of late tonight. It's okay. Yeah, Dusty, 1. The Ferrari 512 BB. That's what I ran. That was Daryl's car that I ran 2 weeks ago, and that performed well. I mean, it probably performed way better than I drove it. So there are lots of different liveries for that Ferrari 512. So which is cool. I find if you watch online, you can find used Carrera track cheap. Just no digital lanes or 130 curves. Yeah, I think that I imagine that there's probably a lot of track that comes up for sale on Facebook groups and things. Yeah. I try not to impact her. So I try to fund the slot car hobby um, by selling old hobbies that I'm not in anymore. uh, so that she, it's not that I'm not, don't tell her that I didn't buy stuff. It's just that I don't want her to feel the impact of me and my many hobbies. I have too many hobbies. But this slot car hobby has turned into something completely different. The only thing that I would say hobby that I've been a part of that rivals it is my guitar playing music hobby. I picked up the guitar at 30 years old and taught myself how to play watching YouTube videos, and it's kind of been crazy. The Sideways Group 5 Escort, those are all good. Wouldn't overlook the Sideways BMW 320s. Yeah, John, I think that those are, I think, Bruce, is that what you drive? A 320. There's a handful of 320s on the track, and they all seem to be up front. So, but I like to drive something that's different that not everybody has. I think Daryl and I are similar in that. So I'm looking for a livery that I don't have a matching car out there. Custom paint the wheels real bright. Yeah, I looked at maybe just doing some customizing when it comes to paint. But these cars all look so good. I hate to mess up the liveries. And Jess, that's a good question. I have not done that yet, and so I have not invested in any epoxy. So if anybody has some, Area 51 JB Weld, I guess I just need to keep reading. Josh Reed, the M1 is a great car. I usually run one when I'm down there. Oh yeah, Josh, that's too bad, man. It'd be good to get a chance to meet up with you. Are you going to be in Dayton anytime this month? Because I thought about running over on a Wednesday night and checking out the races over there. Let's see, the 15-minute epoxy. Okay, that's good. So there's your answer. Try the 15-minute epoxy, the JB Weld. Actually, I have some of that upstairs, the clear. Now that I think about it, I had to repair. I have concrete countertops in my kitchen, and I had a crack in one, and that's what I used to fix it. I like the Tamiya body putty, CA glue with baking soda, easier to true and lighter than epoxy. Jim, that's a great. So CA glue with baking soda. So you just mix that together, okay, and use that. That's fascinating. Lighter than epoxy. That makes sense. Maybe I'll try that. Yes, I run a 320 and a Stratos. Okay. Yeah, I knew you had a second car that you were running in the Group B, but I wasn't sure what it was. So it was the Stratos. That's a Lancia, right? I used to restore the 2002 BMWs. That's cool, Richard. I don't know, what time is it? 9:42. Yes, I agree. Area 51, your videos are great. See, I have the rally car version of the Stratos. That's pretty cool. Is that an SCX, Raul? Or is a Sideways make rally cars? Amazing approach. I need all the weight that I can. What ratio? Mixing the CA glue and the baking soda. Glue, then sprinkle the powder. It goes solid instantly. Oh, okay. So the baking soda is the active agent to get the CA glue to. That's cool. That is really cool. Yeah, man, I can't get over the car. I'm still, yeah, it's gonna be fun to put that on the track. I don't know, what else do you guys want to talk about tonight? Let's see, +1, Jim. There you go. It's 8:42. That's great. So it's still early, Dan. You're in Central Time. Ninko Stratos. Oh, Ninko is your rally car. Cool. Do not mix first. So put the glue in and then sprinkle the powder on it, and that's the drying agent that causes it to solidify. Cool. Yeah, man, Jim, Bruce, Jim, we got all kinds of people that we could bring on to chat about slot cars. I don't know if anybody wants to jump on and join in the discussion. So we did some racing on Sunday, and it was super competitive. And last night, Raul and I talked about float, and does float really matter with a magnetic car? And in the Carrera cars, I'm not sure that float really adds a whole lot. But as soon as you pull the magnet out, then you've got to rely on something. So let's see, bring Jim on. I run super tires on Carrera track. Do they pull up the rubber from the track? So Dave, yes, you do not. If you are used to running rubber tires on your Carrera track, that means you're laying down rubber in all your turns. And if you run silicone tires, within a couple of laps, all of that will be removed, and it will be all over your silicone tires. So you do not want to run silicone tires on your track if you continue to run rubber tires on your track. Silicone will pull up all the rubber. So keep that in mind. And then you've got a mess on your silicone tires. You got to clean them up. I'm too tired. Hey, Lawrence, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Talk about the box. Oh, if we brought Jim on to talk about the Omnibox. Yeah, I don't. Magnets hide all sins. I think you're right. Magnets do hide sins, but I mean, I think there's a place and a time for them. I mean, if I had started off non-mag immediately, I may have gotten really frustrated with racing on my track, because I don't know that I was disciplined enough to learn to drive a non-mag car right off the bat. But now that I'm like 8 months into this hobby, I think I'm way more disciplined in my driving style, that it's easier for me now to move over to non-magnet. So we throw a bunch of beginners on my track. I'm going to put them in magnet cars just so that they have a good time. And then eventually I could wean them off magnets. I mean, eventually we'll probably all three, John Mark and Dusty and I, if we continue to race at Cincy Slots and or go over to Dayton or wherever we end up landing, which is probably all of them, we'll have to run non-mag. And I think we all want to get better at racing and driving. And I think definitely going non-mag really teaches you how to drive and how you feel the car in the controller. I'm really noticing that now of having a feel in my hands of how the car is performing, not just visually. So, yeah, it actually does show the scale speed. If you put the track measurement, so you have to go into tracks in Smart Race, and you have to measure your track so you know how many centimeters the track is total. Yes, Richard, Smart Race is awesome. I love it. But if you put the distance of your lanes in the track settings in Smart Race, it will then calculate scale speed, which is a fun thing to look at. So it doesn't mean anything, but it is fun. Just like, lap times and what place you're in. I mean, in the end, it doesn't really mean that much. It gives us bragging rights and gives us something to look at and to know if our tuning is working, right? I mean, we can do laps, and if we're not timing and not getting lap times We don't know if we're improving. I mean, you can visually see, but it really helps with tuning. I may be wrong, but I feel like the magnet ruined my Carrera motor. Well, I mean, motors have magnets in them. I'm not sure if it would ruin your motor or not. I don't know. I don't have experience with. I think I've lost one motor in my R8, my Audi R8 Carrera car. That car is not. That motor is not running right, so I need to do some work on it. Cars run 20 meters per second, which equates to about 400 mile an hour in a real car, minus drag and friction, of course. Yeah. Raul, you do an awesome job of keeping track of all of your stats on your website. John needs to practice no mag instead of taking vacations. he ran non-mag for a little bit on Sunday. Daryl, you are correct. My call sign is Alf. Nice. George, that does not surprise me. You have Smart Race, but I prefer my Excel spreadsheet. Keeps my brain in calculating mode. I am 80. Hey, I like spreadsheets too. We like magnets sometimes. The problem is they make cars easier to drive, but since racing is about finding the limit, they make racing much harder as sudden releases makes the limit harder to find. Yeah, I would agree that, again, the first experience that we've had racing non-mag was a couple weeks ago at Cincy Slots. So I am very new to racing non-mag. But Daryl lent us some cars, and we tested a handful of cars before everybody got there to race. And I was surprised how well it really taught me something about I've got a lot to learn about tuning a car, because Daryl's cars were tuned really well and they performed really well on the track, which made them very easy to drive. And they were really easy to drive fast. And I think that there was way more time in those cars than I was giving it, because I was a little scared trying to not look stupid and come out of the slot a million times in a race. So I took it easy and tried to learn and use it as a learning experience. And I loved it. I'm super addicted to it now. I see before I really struggled to understand why guys were so dead against magnets. But that night I learned a great lesson, and I really enjoyed running non-mag cars. Yep, he is going to race when we come back. I'm hoping to catch the last week of Group 5, so the last Thursday of January. That's my goal. What manufacturer is your favorite? Bull. That's a great question. I don't know. I started out with Carrera cars and only Carrera cars. And then I bought a slotted GT40, and that immediately was my favorite car. And then I bought an NSR 908 3, and that became my favorite car. And then I've started experimenting with different cars, and I'm really finding that I really enjoy them all. They all are different. They have different levels of detail. They have, but they're a lot of fun. So that's really a good tire truer. Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting on Slot Car Corner to release their new tire truer, and I forget who it's made by, but they said that they should start shipping in February. So hopefully we'll have a truer here before too long. When you ask my favorite car, at first it was Carrera because that's all I had, and then I bought a slotted, and then I bought an NSR, and now I've dabbled with Revo slots and Thunder slot. Right now, I would say Thunder slot is my favorite car. The Elva that Daryl gave to me, I love it. It's a fun car. It handles great. It's super smooth. Really impressed with how it performs. To fingers, I love using mags, especially when the speeds set my vertigo off. Why are Marty's eyes starting to turn black at the bottom? Marty's getting tired, probably. If he doesn't bring a car, I will put him on one. Um, he is a wallflower no more. That's right. No excuses. The secret is not to crash. Well, I think that what it teaches you, that I think what Jim was talking about, magnets exaggerate your braking points. You can brake later because of magnets, and you can accelerate earlier because of magnets. And it's not as realistic as, we hope that. I mean, slot cars are not real cars. And you drive them differently. But then again, Raul and I had this long conversation after the last night afterwards about driving in an apex of a turn, and how some turns really turns have two apexes to them on a slot car track, and even though you're in a slot, there's still a way to drive and make that car handle and corner well. And some of that's tuning, but a lot of it is your braking points and when to accelerate. And I think that is the challenge of non-magnets. Is it's probably more realistic, and I feel like you have a better feel. Magnets give you some confidence that maybe you shouldn't have in that car. If I look at the cars that we've raced magnet, and then the cars that I've been playing with that are non-magnet, the cars in magnets have stuff broken off of them. They are beat to heck because of that. So that's just my 2 cents. And I'm new at non-mag racing, but I'm getting hooked on it. I really starting to understand why people enjoy it. Same here. Favorite car is one of many I have on my desk to review. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Conquest. I really enjoy your reviews. They're great. Let's see here. Reva Slots of amazing detail as a car collector. MR slot cars for non-magnet racing, and Carrera for digital racing at home. Yeah, I think that for magnet racing, I love my Carrera cars. I think that the 917 is the best car Carrera has made that I've got my hands on. Everyone, this is like 5 that I've got my hands on, 5 different ones. They all perform well. Sunday slots. Have I tried 124th yet? Actually, 2 weeks ago. The very first time at Cincy Slots, the second race was Group B 124 scale digital racing, and that was the first time I had ever raced a 124 scale car. We just jumped on the track with no laps and finished last. But man, it was fun. But I felt like the 124 scale is like Demolition Derby. Yes, John Mark was a dedicated marshal. Grandson of Man, the added weight makes crashes harder too with mag. Yeah, it does. My GT40 has been destroyed, my slotted, because I put magnets on it, and that thing screams around. But when it comes out of the slot, it lands feet from the track. Magnet cars do not drift. A 15-degree drift tells you when you have gotten the best out of a turn. Yeah, Jim, I'm starting to feel that in my controller too. That little bit of drift, and I feel like I'm going around the corner pretty quick. So it's fun. It's a new experience, and I'm really enjoying it. John did a good job marshalling because the stool never got away from him all night. It's funny. It was horrendous. Yes, Dusty's probably talking about my GT40 crashes. I agree, Carrera for magnet racing because they are strong. Yeah, they can take a beating. I put beginners in Carrera cars on my track. My kids loved, my 2 daughters love to race on the track, and they come out of the slot constantly. It's, Dad, we want to run as fast as we can, as hard as we can, and so what if we come out of the slot? Maybe one day they'll turn into understanding wanting to drive it. Bruce, is the Ferrari 512 a Group 5 car? Yes. John Mark, that's what I raced was the 512 BB that Daryl had. 15 degrees in which direction? No, wait, John Mark, which Ferrari are you talking about? You're not talking about the new Sunoco Ferrari. That doesn't come out, and that's not a Group B car. Do you prefer fast flowing track or technical slow tracks? My layout, I don't know if I have a picture of my layout that I could flash up there. I have some footage, I think. Mine is a flowing, it's very fast. It has a lot of fast straights, big multi-radius turns. I only have one 180 turn that's a 160, like R1 turns, which I call the hairpin. Outside of that, my turns are big sweeping turns. So, and then I have two turns that are a high bank. So yeah, it's Gene, what kind of layout do you recommend for a small footprint? So that's what you need to decide first, Gene, is how big, what kind of space are you willing to build, and get your table size. And then there is a great resource out there if you're not great at design, which I'm not sure that anybody is great at it. You just kind of build until it comes together. But if you want to save yourself some time and do some design, there are a bunch of designs out there on the Smart Race website for the app. There's a resource out there that is track layouts, and a lot of them are color coded, so you can tell what type of turns they're using, and they all have table measurements, and so you could start there. You could start there with your table size and see what matches. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see here. Smart Race app. See if I can post a link to that. If I can remember where that is on the website. I feel like it was at the bottom of the page. Track building suggestions. It's under resources. Here you go. Found it. I think that this is a fantastic. Of course, bigger is better. So that link, it's at this. It's track layout database. There are, I don't know if it says how many. There are 226 different layouts that you can kind of browse through. You have to do the conversion from centimeters to feet or inches to help you with your table size. But there are a lot of really great track layouts. My first layout that I built was one of those out of those suggestions, and then it basically morphed into what I have today. But I started with one of those. So make it a 4-lane layout. 16 by 8. Holy crap, that is big. Mine is 8 by 24. Bruce, since he slots his layout, he said was 20. What were you? About 9.7 by 20, a little over 20 feet, which is a great layout size if you have the room for it. But if you don't have the room for it, you have to build what you have room for. And people get creative. Just be careful. A track can become really technical really fast if you're trying to squeeze as much track in a small space as you can. And I'm not sure, I like technical pieces to a track, but ultimately the track really needs to have really good flow. So I think they're more fun. Cannot fit 4 lanes. What am I also missing? Whips out a measuring stick. 12 by 8. Bill, yours is 12 by 8. That's a great size layout, man. You can do a lot. Yeah, 27 by 9.3. Yeah, that's it. Bruce, really impressed with your layout. That's a fun track. Really enjoyed racing on it. Let's see. Magnetic cars do tend to really launch. Yes, they do. Yeah, Sunday slots, keep tracks simple. That's what's best. Yeah, I think as soon as you start introducing a bunch of little turns and chicanes and things like that, just to squeeze more track in, those are all things that upset the car. And you really, especially like we're talking with mag racing, you're racing with so much speed. Those are the things that tend to launch a car off a track. So just keep those. Yeah, Bruce's layout was awesome to race. I agree, Dust. Let's see. Bill, you feel so inadequate. No, dude, man, that's a great size layout. You can do a lot in that space. You really can. Having raced on a 440-foot commercial track and other humongous tracks, there's a real downside to big tracks. Not just cost and space. Long straights are boring and give too much advantage to motors. Yeah, Jim, that's a great point. I think that I've only raced on a couple different tracks, so I don't have experience with some of those big, large tracks. I think that it's easy to be too big. Like we're at the place, the 8x24. I mean, it's sometimes hard if just 3 of us are racing. It's hard to marshal. We've gotten good at marshaling because we know where we come out of the track most of the time. But a big track is hard to marshal. And if you don't have a bunch of people standing around and at a race, it gets difficult. Like Bruce's layout, I mean, there's really 3 guys that are marshaling for the most part at any given race. And so that's pretty easy to manage. I prefer flowy tracks, decreasing radius turns. Do people do crossovers to even the lanes? Tom, I have to make my lanes even. I've got where it comes over, basically I have an overpass, so that the track crosses over to try to even the lane lengths out. And I measured, and I am right at the same length. So that doesn't always work exactly, but it is. I think it's nice to have equal lanes, especially like right now that I've got the tech slot box where we're running analog. One lane when we run digital, one lane will always be faster. People will find the fastest lane and they like to stay in that. But when you're running analog, if you can keep them close, you're always going to have one lane that's probably slightly faster than the other, even if they are the same length, just based on radiuses of turns and things like that. So, yeah. Let's see. Agreed. Yep, 1,000. Agreed, Jim. Yeah, Jim, maybe next week we can plan on bringing you on. I wanted to bring Bruce on from Cincy Slots, too. I didn't make it to that. It's 10 o'clock. These things go by so fast. I never get, like Billy says, I never get to do what I plan to do. The chat takes over, and that's okay. That's why we're here. Yeah, you're at 12 by 8, and that you got a nice layout. Yeah, I agree. People ask me all the time if I'm going to add scenery to my track, and I think what I'm planning to do is create a small scenery, either a section of the track that's got some scenery that I can use for photography, so I can take nice pictures of my cars. But for the most part, I feel like our track is ran like a club track, and the scenery would just get in the way of the racing. Not that I don't like scenery. I think some of you guys have built amazing scenes around your track. It's very cool. Gladstone, you're 7 by 13. It's an oval with a crossover and a selective crossover, plenty big enough for my kind of model.
in timed racing. Yep. Yeah, it slows down marshalling for sure, and then you end up breaking stuff and knocking stuff over, and people spend a lot of time and energy and money on scenery. I would hate to see, um, that get destroyed. Yeah, Georgia's got a great layout. Yeah, let's plan on bringing you on soon, Bruce. I'd love to talk about how you got into slot cars, um, what you do, and that would be great. And then Jim, I would love to bring you on and talk about, give us a run through on the Omnibox. So maybe we can schedule that over the next couple weeks, um, if you're up to it. If not, no pressure, man. It would be great. But I think all of us have questions about the Omnibox, and how it's different than the tech slot box, and why it might be better, or why we might consider. I know we've talked a lot about that in the comments, but I think it would be great to have that conversation, for people to go back and to rewatch and have a resource out there. So it'd be great. Most excitement is when cars battle close to each other on larger tracks. That happens less. Yeah, I agree. I think that with all that space, like you said, it comes down to what kind of motor do you have. Let's see. Our home track is more technical. Old School Electric guy here, but running some mags is great. You gotta drive. No other way to say it. Magnet racing is just lightning fast. Yeah, DeFingers. You're not gonna get an argument from me. I love to race magnet, but I am gravitating towards non-mag, mainly because that's what the club does. Where we got to race, and it was fun. It was competitive. It was the first time I ever raced, and I was only 6 laps, 42 laps. I was 5.5 laps off of the pace. So that gives me something to shoot for the next time, to do better. And I think I will get more laps in. Hopefully get a car and get it tuned here this week, and go from there. So on YouTube, my perspective of my track. Look, if you like Richard, definitely will check it out. We'll look it up, and love to see your layouts. Best to start out getting someone on first early on the feed. I know that you're right, George. Like with Amanda and Billy, I brought them on immediately. When you and Raul, I brought you guys on early, before I let the chat take over what's going on. Looking to pick up the Omnibox for my big track, but waiting on the new space. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, Jim, that's awesome, dude. Wow. Okay, I will follow up with you email after this. I promise. That's a good question. Can the Omnibox do 4 lanes? I think you probably do a power supply for each lane, I think, with the Omnibox, maybe. So I'm guessing that it probably could manage 4 lanes. Jim could tell you. We could build a 4-lane OSB, and we were building 4 lanes with 2-lane digital and 4-lane analog. Not sure that the 4-lane digital makes any sense. Jim, that's a good question. I don't know if anybody has a 4-lane digital track out there. What I was saying with my track is everybody on digital runs 1 lane, and then you use the lane changers to pass somebody. I don't know that a 4-lane digital track makes any sense, but I've not raced on one. So I don't know if anybody out there has a 4-lane digital track, and do all 4 lanes get used? Do you have 2 lanes that are faster than others, and they're not the 2 inside lanes? Or you have a Sunday Slots, you have a 4-lane digital? Do you find that you use all 4 lanes when you race digital, or is it 1 lane gets most of the use? Kind of feel like Jim's theory is right, but I'm just guessing. I haven't raced on one, so I don't know. I think it would be blast to have a 4-lane track, but man, you got to have a lot of space. You get the elevation out of the track. Cincy Slots had a 4-lane, and it was digital, and they went to 2-lane. Yeah, I feel like that's I've seen 3-lane digitals, 1 lane being the racing line, the other 2 for being passing lanes primarily. Lion face. Hey, good to have you on the chat tonight, man. Yeah, I could see that. Again, do you need more than 1 passing lane? I don't know. I guess with 6 cars on the track at once, and then like the Scalextric's Oxygen, you can run how many? How many cars? I don't know. They do that big Le Mans 24-hour race. I've watched footage of that. There's like 25 cars on that track, but it's a 2-lane digital. 2 lanes are princesses, but all 4 get used. Much easier on the cars. More fun because more options means more variety. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, Danny Wiley, I saw Boone is building a 4-lane HO. Would that be digital? I've had the space. I'd go with 4 lanes. Yeah, that sounds. I think it would be cool. I'm not against it. I just have a feeling that you would spend a lot of money to create a 4-lane digital track that really only 2 lanes get used most of the time. Unless, I guess, if you built like a big oval, then maybe there was, maybe there would be more use of some of the outside lanes. My home track is 4 lanes, but only 2-lane digital. Okay. But you can run 4-lane analog at your home track, Bruce. That's cool. It makes more sense for analog to have multiple lanes. Yeah, I agree. Now that's my feeling too. It totally makes sense for a 3 or 4-lane analog track. It's the only way you get to have more than 2 people race at a time. I'm a dinosaur. I don't have hand-eye coordination to run digital or the money to chip cars. Yeah, the chipping of the cars gets really expensive. And Jim talked about in one of his comments on one of my videos, he talked about how you can pretty easily justify, if you had 40 digital cars and you had to buy a chip for every one of them, you can pretty much buy the Omnibox and run them, without having to chip them. It pretty much pays for itself pretty quick that way. Gary, you're 11 by 7'4" or 74 feet. 11 by 74 feet. Man, that's a big layout. But I'm guessing it's 11 by 7.4. Yes, 4 lanes analog. Yes, 2 digital lanes, 2 analog. If you have space, is great. Yeah, that would make sense. And I could see that being more useful. Clint, 4-lane analog, 10 by 16, love it. Yeah, I bet. That sounds like fun. Chipping isn't a factor if you just stick to brand. Yeah, I know, but I will tell you, like, my favorite Carrera car. My favorite Carrera car is the 917, and they have other cars that I like, but there are so many other great cars out there. I can't just stick with Carrera. I thought in the beginning I would. I'm like, I'm only going to buy digital cars from Carrera. That quickly changed. Once I got a Slotted, once I got an NSR, like those are cool cars. You get the itch. So I get it. AC 2 car looks pretty cool. 2 cars per lane analog. Oh, I wonder how that works. I'll have to look that up, grandson of man. When they asked about the price of the box, it pays you back as you do not have to buy a chip for each car. Yeah. 74 inches. Gotcha, Gary. Thanks. It seems that multiple lane ovals with no crossover creates big lane advantages. Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I see that. I was watching Harry Wise's racing from this past weekend and all the scratch build cars, and those videos were fantastic. But you could really see an advantage inside lane versus outside lane. I mean, that outside lane, it was such a much longer lane. The car really had to be quick to keep up with that. Those inner lanes were really fast. If I buy a Carson chip, can't you just swap it car to car? Yes, Jim, you can. It is plug and play. The slotted chip is the same way. So if you have slotted cars, you can move the slotted chip from car to car pretty easy. So those are the advantages. And like honestly, you can only run so many cars on your track at a time. I mean, once you reach a critical mass of Carrera digital cars, just buy Evolution cars and pull a chip out of one. It's so quick and easy to change a Carrera chip. Save yourself some money buying Evolution cars. I mean, they make every car that they release each year, they make Evolution and digital. So just save yourself money and reuse chips. Just run heats and switch lanes to cancel the advantage. Yeah, I mean that's what they do. That's what Bruce does. You run a 3.5 minute race in each lane, and it's your total laps. So yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. That's how you even it up. What's great about our hobby is that there's so much we can do with how we all like to run. Every track, every car is different, and isn't that what the whole draw is? Fun. Yes, the fingers. That is exactly why I am loving this hobby. It's why I started my YouTube channel. It's why I'm super passionate about it, because I'm finding fun in everything. Yeah, it's really, really good. Jim, Analog Racing. Hey, Tim, cheers, man. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Analog Racing should always have lane rotation. Yep. Let's see here. Wow, chat's really moving. But all the drivers rotate through all lanes, so in the end, everyone gets the long lane. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's how you have to do it with multi-lane tracks like the Analog. It makes perfect sense. I really didn't understand how anybody was running them until, I mean, we learned a lot at your place, Bruce. It was a great learning experience for us to understand how a racing night works. Also, I'm going to push back on the heats for Analog. When I got into racing, I found heats were just time trials. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, there's Bruce at Cincy Slots. They don't do qualifying. I think if you run heats, you're probably just trying to give people extra laps on the track, which is always good to have extra laps on the track. It makes you better, and part of how you run the evening. Night, Tim. Not fun. Okay. Yeah. Everybody has a different opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. Does the slotted chip have the ghost car function? The Carson does not. You know what? I don't know. For some reason, I thought both of those chips have the ghost function, but I'll have to test that. Jonathan, I will test that when I get off here, and maybe leave a comment after the video is already posted. It uses AC instead of DC. Lunch King in the YouTube channel. Okay, I will check it out. 124th Carrera Capri 52. I must have missed Richard. What you were referring to. Marty, your contribution to the hobby is terrific. Good job. Oh, thanks, man. I'm a newbie, and I think that's what I'm enjoying about the hobby is like every day I feel like I'm learning more and more. People are reaching out and sharing their knowledge with me. It's great. I want to try to create a community that shares all of that. That's what I'm after. So if you consider that contributing, thank you. That's what I'm hoping I'm doing, but I'm definitely not. I'm not a pro, and that's what makes this fun. If I was a pro, I probably wouldn't be enjoying it. So variety is what keeps this interesting. I agree. I have 1,500 cars, including my first one. That is amazing, Jim. And Jim, thank you for sharing your knowledge. It's important that we keep this going. So I think but the Carson chip can do lights, but the slotted can't. Yeah, I think that's the big difference. Thanks, Jim. Clint, Jim, what was your first car? Did you mean 1,500 favorite cars, Jim? That's great. Yeah, the tech slot Nick has those functions. They do not have the Ghost car. Thanks, Conquest. You save me from having to test. Yeah, Dusty, I don't think so either. I couldn't remember. Yeah, so the Slot Technic, I actually have one right here. This chip right here, you can get it at Cincy Slots. You can get it at lots of other places. That has all the leads for the lights. But you would have to buy a light kit with the LEDs or be good at soldering to create that. So to add lights. Yeah, man. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate you joining in. It was great to have you tonight. Yep, I'm getting ready to wrap up. I went way longer than I was expecting. My wife texted me, like, what are you doing? So, yeah, the Carson is the easiest to install and run. I would agree. It was very easy to install that in the car. So, all right, guys, I think we're gonna call it a night. Man, this was okay. My first slot car was a 1/25th scale 1956 Ford pickup. Nice, that's awesome. Clint, Aurora HO model 1960 Corvette. That was your first car. That's cool, and you still own it. Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Jonathan. Thank you, man. This has been a fun night, guys. Thanks for joining me. Raul, again, dude, you are amazing. Thanks, buddy. I'm gonna get you back. I don't know how, but I'm gonna get you back, guys. Yeah, good night. Thanks for joining, and we'll do this again next week. I'll reach out to a handful of people to see if we can bring somebody on early in the conversation. So, good night, guys. Good night. We'll talk to you all soon. Peace out.